lies to
That was scary. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. 1 second, I'll show that. Open recent pranam mantras. Is it coming up there? Okay, beautiful. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Shri Gurundi Natarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Wonderful. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, let me close that one. Somehow it's not like a Windows experience where it shows me both ways and I can maintain. So we are on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, text 40. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I have to read it from there because somehow it's not there. Adharma bhibavat Krishna Pradushyanti kula striyaha Strishu dusta Strishu dustashu varsneya Jayate varna sankara. Can someone read the translation for me?
When a religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted and from the degradation of womanhood. O descendant of
Vrishni
comes unwanted progeny.
Beautiful. Thank you, Madhaji. So, if we have to remember what are the challenges Arjuna is facing or what are the questions he is asking, first we asked about compassion. He's thinking about how can I fight against my relatives. So that's compassion. Second is enjoyment. We have been reading already that far. What is that? If this war is over, even if I win, if my family is not there, whom I'm going to enjoy with, right? So that is E. So C and E, compassion and E. Third one he argued about is sinful reaction. If I'm going to kill my ancestors, if I'm going to kill my guru, I'm going to get reaction out of it. So that's a S, which is third one, sinful reaction. Now this is the fourth one. So CES. Now the fourth one, destruction of family tradition. So that's what he is talking about, because the purpose, and we spoke about it, when we go to the universities today, they talk about competency. They don't talk about character. What does character mean? Character mean understanding the moral principles, understanding the responsibility we have. For an example, one of the biggest family tradition is Pitrudan. We all know what is Pitrudan, right? So when ancestors leave the body, we perform certain so-called rituals. Rituals is not a right word, but I'm just using that because I don't know the right term in English for that one. But we perform certain activities which are necessary. Does anyone know what is the purpose of Pitrudan? We perform final rites. After our ancestors depart, whoever leaves, we perform certain rites. What is the purpose of that? Anyone?
It's to release them so that whatever unfulfilled wishes are there,
Hmm.
they kind of let go of it, and they say that to attain moksha.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, anything else?
So, similar to what
Hmm.
Dr. mentioned,
Yeah.
it's also about kind of saying in a way goodbye and don't or try to get away from the grief after that day.
Hmm.
So don't continue with grieving for after certain days, like 13-day usually what we observe here in
Yeah.
my state.
Hmm.
And on 13th day we offer like a meal to Brahmana.
Correct.
After
Correct.
that, uh, then we kind of start continue our routine life.
Very nice. All these inputs are very helpful. I don't know if you know about it. The soul doesn't leave until 12 days are gone. Because the soul, coming back to your point, the soul is attached to the body. Like we are attached to our body, to be honest. So soul doesn't want to leave that body, but soul cannot enter back in the body. So what happens is for 12 days, the soul is there around just with relatives and all that, so whatever is going on. But after the 12 days, that's why these rites are performed. So what happens is the soul gets the next body. So what happens after that? So for an example, if I leave the body, remembering something material, I cannot get moksha. So I want to clarify that part. Moksha is only achieved when one receives perfection. Now, perfection could be a different level. One of the perfections, so there are now after this chapter, second chapter, where Krishna is talking about the science of soul, the third chapter is Karma Yoga. After that, Karma Yoga is again divided into two yogas, Nishkam Karma Yoga and Sakam and Nishkam Karma Yoga. We'll get into that. I'm just spelling that out. So Karma Yoga, then the Jnana Yoga. What is Jnana? What is the destination of Karma Yoga? The destination of anyone who performs perfectly Karma Yoga go to heavenly planets. So far with me? They go to heavenly planets. And if you remember, we showed that 12 planets, or we showed that planetary system, you remember? Heavenly planet is there, and topmost is Brahmaloka. So who gets the Brahma's position? Who perfects karma yoga, they can take the role of Indra or Devatas as well as up to Brahmaji. That's the destination of Karma Yogi. Jnana Yogi, which is, I wouldn't say superior, but it's still better. So what is happening? The Karma Yoga, the people are attached to their activities, or if they are not attached to their activities, or people are attached to the fruits, if they offer that fruits to God, Vishnu, then they are attached to the activities. So that's why they get the position, higher position in the world. Okay, but that's again not mukti. That's not liberation either. Above that is Jnana Yoga. The Jnana Yoga is someone renouncing the world, has nothing to do with this world. He thinks that the activities of this world are the one who are creating a problem for me. So let me renounce those activities. You see a lot of people like that live such a poverty stricken life. They just want to live separate. Not that they are rich, they are not rich. They can earn money, but they want to renounce. They are just simple living, high thinking that way. Himalayas, rishis, and all this. These are gyanis. Their purpose of life is to attain moksha, which you mentioned about. So going above the heavenly planet, because in heavenly planet also you have to come back. So there is Brahman Jyoti above that. Brahman Jyoti is a light coming from Krishna's body. So that is Brahman Jyoti. So you see a lot of other processes where they show light behind and they ask about chanting that mantra, focusing on that light. That's Brahman Jyoti. So far with me, am I speaking too much? You're with me, okay? So Jnana Yoga. And then above that is Ashtanga Yoga, who are mystic siddhis, who have mystic siddhis. They can literally, even today, I was mentioning last time, they are on Himalaya, they can come to Prayag, took a dip and come out. Himalaya and Prayag are way far away from each other, but that is the control of their mind and senses, they can do that. So that's Ashtanga Yoga. What is the destination? Brahman Jyoti. Or if they can do perform better, they can go beyond Brahman Jyoti to Vaikuntha. And what is the destination of Bhakti Yoga? So Bhakti Yoga, which we are trying to practice or which we are trying to bake in here, is Vaikuntha, which you mentioned about. So liberation can be Brahman Jyoti. Liberation, there are 4 kind of liberations we get. So getting into the abode of Lord Vishnu, getting the same body as Lord Vishnu, not that we become Lord Vishnu, but Vishnu Dutas exactly look like Vishnu. Except one thing, Lakshmi ji is not there on their chest. It's only Vishnu. Third one is, I forgot 2 more. I'll come to that point. So there are 4 muktis, 4 liberation we get. So they are offered in different Vaikuntha Loka. And topmost of Vaikuntha Loka is Golok Vrindavan. That Golok Vrindavan manifested on earth as Vrindavan. So far with me? Because Krishna, when he comes, he never comes without his abode. So that's why when Krishna came, the whole Vrindavan came here, which is still existing here. So it's not different from Golok Vrindavan, but it's Bhauma Vrindavan. Bhauma means Prithvi, the land. So that is Vrindavan. Right? So coming back to this point, if family tradition are not followed, like for an example, the Pitrudan is not followed, the soul doesn't get the body. That's why it's very important to perform that ritual. And there are various different rituals which are performed throughout our, like we have Brahman thread. When we grow up to a certain age, that we have given a Brahman thread, right? And then who can do the final rites? That's also, someone has to wear that, not otherwise you can't do that. So these are not just rituals, they are actually the ones which can allow us to award a higher body to that. Like for an example, you mentioned about when they offered the food, all 12 days we offered the food to Lord Vishnu and then we put it out, that the birds or animals will eat. Based on the scriptures, actually the crow comes, takes that and offers to Pitru, because the journey is very long for the body. It's not that, oh, you know what, based on my desire, I'll be born, say for an example, I have a tendency like a dog and I'll be born next door dog. No. What happens is that the soul has to travel, has to go through suffering. And then the soul has to put into the body of dog. But before that, if I'm behaving like a human, I cannot behave like a dog. I'll start speaking rather than barking. So I have to be trained to behave like that. So there is a training happens before that soul enters into the body. So the journey from going from this Prithvi Loka to whatever planet we are going, and there are unlimited universes, not that there is only one universe, there is only one Prithvi, no. So this body or the soul, sorry, not body, the soul is trained to enter into that body. So soul is hungry and thirsty. That's why one of the time, which I mentioned a couple of lectures before, Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't want to do Ashwamedhna Yagya. Narada Muni came and told him, you should perform that. Why should I do that? He said, because your ancestors are stuck in the Pritulok. The which loka I said? Pitruloka, sorry, not, yeah, Pitruloka. You have to deliver them. So you perform this yajna. So this is a very important activity which has to be performed so that the soul migrates. So what is Arjuna saying? Who is teaching all these principles? Our ancestors are teaching. If they are gone, who will be able to tell that, right? So that's what is being discussed here. Can we read the purport? I'm just going to scroll down. Yeah. Is this readable? Okay, perfect. who can read it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good population in human history is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varna Sutra religion's basic principles were so
Varnashram religions.
Varnashram
Yeah.
religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activity should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Very important. Thank you so much for reading this. I want to clarify a few points in this purport. So, one of the important point is during earlier times, father is supposed to take care of children, including the girl. And when the girl get married, she's under the protection of husband and she's under the protection of the children. One of the time, if you see, when one has mother and father, and we know everyone has to leave the world, whom do you think, and again, I'm not saying better, but whom do you think is okay if one of the parent, one has to leave? Who should leave first? And what is the implication for that? Am I making sense? What am I asking? If mother and father are there, one has to leave. Who leaves first creates more impact. Whether the if she is left is better or father who is left is better. What do you think? I know I'm asking a tough question, but this is based on
But at least in life, I see that father leaving creates less impact than mother leaving.
Beautiful.
When it comes to taking kids,
Very nice.
but the security, safety, and little bit other things. Maybe I don't want to take money, but everyone makes money now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, men can protect the other securities, other things. That's how.
Thank you. This is very insightful. And this is the truth. If mother stays, what kids need is the love and affection. Based on the karma, one will automatically receive what he or she is supposed to receive, whether you want it or you don't want. For an example, a person who is supposed to be millionaire, irrelevant of whichever life he is living in, whatever difficulty he go through, he will get what he's looking for. And we will read it in our next chapters where Krishna talks about the concept of quota. Everyone based on our karma gets the quota. So whether, and I'm not saying we become lazy, we do our duty, but when we are destined to get certain quota, we will get it. And sometimes people work hard to go beyond the quota. Unfortunately, they cannot get beyond quota. That's how it is designed. So coming back to your point, if mother stays, what actually will happen is mother will be able to give samskar, the culture to the children. But father may be there, but we need mother more than father. That's an important aspect. So earlier times, when when the children are there, mother is considered to be the topmost. And the world is designed in such a way that, and you see it today, women are more exploited than the men. Because not that they are unintelligent, and I want to clarify this point because this is very important. They are very simple hearted. They are very simple hearted. Only one relationship in the material world mimics our relationship with God is mother. You can never take any relationship in the world which mimics our relationship with God. Mother is willing to go unlimited suffering and difficult to grow the child. Father cannot do that. That's another thing which I wanted to bring it up. So when we talk about when a woman is left, she is being exploited by the world. And that is why it is very important the woman has to be protected. Not that woman is lower than the man. One time, because Prabhupada was preaching this and Prabhupada started this mission in Western country. In Western countries, actually if you see, initially men and women were equal, but now women are going much higher than what men are able to perform. So the question coming is, one time, one lady disciple of Prabhupada asked this question. So Prabhupada, they are fighting, saying that, oh, you know what, the men's are the men's are superior and women are, inferior to that. Prabhupada said, is soul men or women? What do you say? Is soul men or is soul male or female? What is that? It's none. It's not male, it's not a female. We are getting this body based on our desire. I'm getting a man's body because I had attachment in my previous life to man body. That's why I have a man body. Not that. And if I'm attached to the woman body, next life will be woman body. That's how it is designed. That the nature, the law of nature is so pristine, so clear. Everything is clearly defined. Not that, oh, you know what, there are some gray shades here, or like immigration laws. Oh, this can be done, this can be done. Nobody's clear about it. This is crystal clear. So that's how it is happening. So if woman is not taken care of, right, what would happen is the people will exploit them. And what would happen is, actually, this is a very important aspect based on this. Before parents conceive the child, they are actually supposed to perform a yajna so that the right soul enters into the body. This is a very detailed science actually. Based on the consciousness of mother and father, the soul is attracted to that body. Wow. That's why you see in earlier times, people would read Ramayana and Mahabharata morning and Ramayana and Gita morning and evening. Why? And especially a female who is expecting, she goes through Ramayana and she reads Mahabharata. Why? Because then the consciousness will go like that. Now, one example, if you can quote me from the scriptures where the womb was affected based on the thought of the mother. Can you quote me some example which you know from scriptures? Thank you. What happened to Abhimanyu?
He was in the womb, and that's how he know the Chakravyuh.
Phenolix. Yeah, he knew the Chakravyuh how to enter, but his mother went to sleep. He did not know how to come out. And that's how it happened. Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was, who is Prahlad? He is the son of a demon. Kayadu. Kayadu was his mother. How did he get bhakti? He's born in the dynasty of demons actually. It's not just the father, the whole dynasty is demon. How come he became a devotee? Because when he was in the womb of his mother, he was hearing Katha from Narada Muni. He was hearing Krishna Katha. That is how he got attracted to Lord Vishnu. These are wonderful examples where you actually read, the mother reads it and then the child bonds with that body. However, if Varna Sankara, that's the term being used, if the parent, if it's not a legal parent and they want to unite, but they go with that consciousness that I want to enjoy the opposite sex, accordingly the soul will be attracted. There is a beautiful pastime which happens. How did Hiranyakashipu and Ravana was born? Very interesting. I want to spell that out. So, mother Diti wanted to unite with her husband. Her husband said this is not a right time to unite because this is the time Lord Shiva comes along with the ghost and travels. So if we unite at this time, the children who are born will have ghastly appearances and they will actually take those nature. But she didn't want to hear. And she forced her husband to unite at that time, and that's how Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakshvar was born. Imagine. Just even time of conception is very important as well. I don't know if you know, and I'm sure maybe I'm just sharing. It is also said what day to unite based on that you will get a boy or a girl. You know about this science? Based on certain days, this is scripturally then you can get a boy or girl based on what day
My
you.
dad would tell that.
Yeah, because this is all coming from family tradition, right? And this is what is being spoken in this verse. Arjuna is afraid, and Arjuna is giving these concepts are very important. These details are very important because otherwise we are lost. We were just discussing this morning. Our GBC, Global Body Commissioner, she is here actually. She's Prabhupada's disciples directly. She was told by Prabhupada that, no, they said, Prabhupada, can we go to UK and establish the temple there? And I want to spell this out. This is wonderful actually. Prabhupada said yes. She had 10 or 12 days old baby. They traveled to UK, London. Not that they had a house, not that there were temples like we have today. They had nothing. They had literally zero money. They went there somehow living in some basements and whatever it is on railway station or whatever it is, they were living there. And one day they had a desire. How about if we meet George Harrison? You may be hearing, you know about George Harrison, right? He is a very famous singer in Europe. You can search for him. How about if we meet him? It's a wild thought. You have just living like a beggar, you have no idea. They get to meet. And George Harrison one time went to India and he was attracted about spirituality. He met yogis there. So when he heard these people chanting Hare Krishna on the street, he said, I want to meet you guys. And it went to an extent where he donated his house. And that's the temple today in London at Soho Street, one of the richest area in London. Richest area in London. He donated his house to the temple. He is the one who printed Krishna book. There is, other than Bhagavad Gita, which is a discussion between Krishna and Arjuna, there is another book called as Krishna book. That's pastimes of Krishna. He printed those books. Power. When someone connected to spiritual master and want to sincerely offer their life, what they can achieve is unlimited. So here Arjuna is talking about the progeny will be disturbed if we are not able to follow the right principle. So we will go to the next verse. Text 41. Shankaro narakayeva kulagranam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hesham lupta pindo daka kriya. Translation, please.
An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped.
That's the one which I was referring about. Why Pindadan is so important. I know AI is there, but otherwise I wanted to share some stuff. Let's skip that. I don't want to be in difficult situations, so let's avoid that. So can we just quickly read the purport?
According to the rules and regulations fruitive activities.
Can you pause here? Anybody knows what is the meaning of fruitive activities? Activity bears fruit. Irrelevant of what, like you're actually the activities which we are performing now doesn't give you fruit. And one may say, oh, really? That's not good, right? We get a certain body or we perform, fruit is the results of the karma, the activity. Karma is nothing but the activity. So the results, Jai Shri Radha Gopi Channel Bhagwan ki jai, Bhagwan Gaurari ki jai. So we get fruits based on our activity. And why we have to take the body? Because we have fruits remaining. So fruitive activity means performing the activity with the thought that I'll get the results and being attached to the result. For an example, if I'm working from 9 to 5, not that I love my job, not that I love my boss, we may, but at least I don't. Why do I work? Because I get the salary. What am I attached to is will I get the salary, which will take care of the other needs. So that's fruitive activity, because the thought process, I'm performing certain activity with that. Please go ahead, Madhaji.
There is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions simply by performing devotional service. One can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in the Bhagavatam.
Very important aspect. I want to cover this. If one perfects his life 21 generations before and after they are delivered, can you imagine? If I perfect my life, if I perform the devotional service, and if I go back to Godhead, what is the meaning of going back to Godhead? It is Venkuta. That's the term I will use. But again, Venkuta are different Venkuta, not just one Venkuta, which is our understanding. So when I perform, when I perfect that life, my 21 generation before and after are delivered. What is the proof of that? Prahlad Maharaj. After Hiranyakashipu was killed, Narsingadev asked him, saying that, what should I do for you? He said, please deliver my father. He said, without even saying, because you perfected your life, because you performed devotional service with such a high sincerity, 21 generation before and after are already delivered. Imagine. Dhruv Maharaj, you know about Dhruv Maharaj, right? The pole star. Did I speak about that story? Yeah. So Dhruv Maharaj, when he perfected his life, the flower plane, I'm not talking about the plane, the flower plane came from spiritual world to take him back. And what is his first desire? Where is my mother? Because she actually guided me to that route that I should go to the forest and worship Lord Vishnu. So where is she? And what is Vishnu Duta says? See, in the other plane, she's already traveling without doing anything. They are delivered. This is a very important aspect. Rather than this world need an example, which I was talking about the other day. I can speak philosophy, but if my character doesn't show that philosophy, useless. Right? Same way, if we want to change the world, we have to change ourselves, and then the things will automatically reflect, which we know about it. So if I want to have practice devotional life, let me do perfect so that others will automatically be delivered. That's the point which I was mentioning about. Please read the next few lines, Mataji.
Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the supreme personality of Godhead.
Beautiful, thank you. Do you know why do we offer water to sun god? We know about that activity, right? Yeah. Yeah. Why do we do that?
So that we have good thoughts
Okay, good try. Anything else?
and have discipline in life so that we wake up in the proper
Very nice. Okay, okay. Anything else?
Purity or something?
Huh?
Purity.
Okay, very nice. All these points are wonderful. Why we offer water to Surya Dev is to share our gratitude. Other than what you all said, if sunlight is not there, we will not be able to do that. For your information, and I was surprised to hear that. For me to blink my eyes, I need a permission of Devatas. For me to move my hand, I need the permission of Devatas. For me to use my feet, I need the permission of Devatas. For me to digest the food which is going in the belly, I need the mercy of Surya Dev. That is another reason we worship Surya Dev. There is an Agni within our digestion system will digest the food. And if your agni, if someone's agni is weak, there are various diseases coming. So if you go to Ayurveda, they take your nadi. What they find out from your nadi is your pulse to see how fast and how it is performing. And most of the time, or at least I've seen 99% of the time, everything boils down to your digestion system. So if the digestion system is not able to digest, we have various diseases. And who gives that digestion system fire? Sun God. So we have actually so much debt to pay off. For an example, for any of us, we don't even realize we are breathing. It just comes natural. We have no realization that I'm breathing. Can I manufacture oxygen? I'm sorry, I cannot manufacture oxygen. I may think, oh, I combine two hydrogen and one oxygen, but someone has to give me hydrogen, right? That's how H2O will be formed. But where is H2O coming from? That's provided by God. So that's why there is the whole Varnashram Dharma is actually to award and to offer that gratitude. So how is that whole cycle works? And I want to spell that out because this is very important. So when we offer yajna, when we offer gratitude to these devatas, that's how they get food. And I want to spell this out. So when you offer the yajna, right? In yajna, when what we offer ghee, we offer fruits and other activities. That goes to devatas. That is their food. When they eat that, they become happy and they award us rain. And when rain happens, the fruits grow, the vegetations grow. And when we eat that fruit and vegetation, we maintain ourselves and we again perform the yajna. This is the whole cycle. I asked this question to someone. Well, I don't see that cycle being followed here anymore. Do you agree to that point? Do you see anyone performing yajna on daily basis? We don't know. Even we haven't performed for years. We did not know about it. So is the cycle broken? Yes. And that is why this world is in a difficult situation. Then we can imagine. Do you think the Bhumi cannot produce the amount of food which can serve all the people? It can produce more than what we can do. But because of that greediness, people have, which we were talking about nutty greedy the other day, what is happening is the earth is not able to produce what we are looking for. Not that the earth doesn't have an ability. So this is a very important cycle which we have to perform. If we don't do that, then the problem happens. So we have so much of debt. Imagine we pay DTE bills. Imagine if Sun gives you a bill, what would happen? We will be bankrupt. Irrelevant of we become a CEO of the company, will not be able to pay off what Sun will cost us. Like right now, there is tariff stuff going on saying that Canada is saying, oh, you're applying on tariff on us? Okay, now we will charge you electricity. People are scared on the borders. Oh, we have to pay now 200%. Just electricity. Imagine sun God we get free of cost. Isn't it beautiful Sunday outside today? Imagine if sun would not be there. I was just talking this morning. These planets go in the orbit. Have you ever thought about who is managing that orbit? If sun is at a particular distance from Earth. If the sun goes too far, we will die with the cold. If sun comes too close, we will die with the heat. Am I making sense so far? How is that they run in the same orbit? I'm 46. Whatever is your age, we never saw that the earth came close to sun. Have you ever seen? Neither our ancestors seen before. So this is going on for years and years and years. Who is doing that? Without even our realizing. Everything is being managed by God. But what do we do for God? Have you ever thought about it? What do I do for sun? I am actually intentionally teaching my kids when they see sun, when they see moon. You know the fruits become juicy when the moonlight goes on that. This is the moon. If the moon is not rising, decide, man, I'm tired. Just leave it, man. It's so much recession is going on. I don't want to get. I'm just want to enjoy. I just want to be there. The fruits will not grow. The flowers will not grow. That's the power. Imagine so much is there in nature. I remember when my wife was suffering from lung disease, she was not able to breathe. She wouldn't be able to walk from here to here. And she would need cylinder one time. The electricity doesn't go off here. At least rarely it goes off. And one day, all of a sudden, the electricity went off. I had to literally run to figure it out. How do I run? Because she cannot breathe for 5 minutes without oxygen. I realized how grateful I should be to God to just get oxygen free of cost. We know COVID situation. People, millionaires were able to, ready to pay millions of dollars to get one oxygen cylinder. But there was scarcity. They were not able to get, they died. We don't even realize that stuff. That's happening. We What is being spoken here by Arjuna is very important, and our ancestors are the one who are teaching that. If we if we do not give that to our downstream, then that will be a problem. They will never understand. Why do we come in front of God? Imagine, sun, how many hours sun is there? 10 hours, maybe 8 hours, whatever, 12 hours, whatever it is. When we come in front of God, how much time do we spend? 2 minutes? 5 minutes? What is the situation of this world now? We really have to think through, what am I doing in my life, my Lord? You gave me so much. You see in the hospital, how many people are suffering? Children. Oh my goodness, it's unimaginable how much suffering people go through. And I'm able to walk, I'm able to eat, I'm able to see your beautiful Lord. I don't have an eyes problem. I don't have an ear problem. I don't have a breathing problem. Where is that coming from? That is gratitude. One has to really realize. That's why when I was a small boy, my parents, my mother especially, would teach. I'm a Sindhi, so she would teach me in the Sindhi prayer. Every time when you wake up, offer your gratitude to the Lord. And when I go to sleep, offer my gratitude to the Lord. My Lord, because of you, I'm able to do whatever I'm doing. Otherwise, it's impossible for me. When I heard this, the Devtas, without their permission, we cannot blink our eyes. Blinking in eyes is the most insignificant activity for us without we even realizing. We can't even do that. So with that, any questions or comments before we move to the next verse?
No.
Okay. Text 42. Doshe rete kula grananam gihananam varna sankara kara kahe Usadhyante jati dharma kula dharma shashwataha. Translation, please. Go ahead.
By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are given.
You see, today's America's condition. Why is that? People, even in the school, the other day I actually went to the doctor and he was just mentioning, and of course, I don't follow news so much. He was mentioning just that day, which is just not more than a month back. He was telling two nurses came out. They had some quarrel. One guy pulled the gun, shooted the other guy. Who's that? Medical profession guy. Nurses. If you don't know, the nurses today, the highest suicide ratio. Can you imagine what is the profession which goes through the highest suicide? If you don't follow statistics, I'm just picking up your brain. When you see the amount of people performing suicide, what is the top class of people who perform that? Medical doctors. Or you go to a psychiatrist to solve psychiatric problem. You go to the doctor for other problems. How much challenge they are going through? Their suicide ratio is the highest. Isn't it a shock? I was just literally shocked about it. Why? You see, today, children are taking gun to the school and shooting. These are common occurrences. Why? Where did children learn shooting? Where is that culture of that killing comes in? Have you ever thought about it? It's coming from wrong progeny. Coming from wrong thoughts are coming from what mother and father are thinking about and what kind of relationship they have. Today, a lot of children are going through so many mental diseases. Why? Because of poor relationship between mother and father. They don't know how to deal. They don't know how to handle children. They are just working, struggling like that, and they have no realization what happens to children. I'll give you one example. I'm sharing my personal example, if you don't mind. This is 2016. My son is hardly 3 years old. Yeah, he's 3 years old actually. Myself and my wife had some conflict. He still remembers. Just 3 years guy. He is not 12. 9 years back that incident happened. He still remembers. That gave me a shock of my life. What am I doing every day in front of children? What impression does it create? Or there was another. This was a wrong thing. And one, I don't want to talk about appreciation. It's better to talk about criticism about oneself. So one time my children came and appreciated about one thing which I never realized, that I have that quality. The children are more observant than all of us we can think about. They pick up things very fast. So when the father is thinking about the activities of shooting, talking about gun and all that stuff, what happens? The children picks it up. They feel that's a fantasy to have a gun, to carry it. They don't have a sense control. They take it. I was just talking to the same doctor who was actually very big surgeon. He was mentioning about why do we really need guns. He said a beautiful point. Why do we really need guns? Because guns were needed earlier when people were living in the forest, when animals would attack and all that stuff you need. Where is that now? We don't have forests anymore. We have been deforesting so much, literally, there are no forests left. America is still comparatively better. India's situation is even worse. But why is all that happening? Because of this. When the seed of devotion is not given to children, they become Varna Sankara. That's the word which is being used here. They do not know the purpose of life. What they are learning is, in Canada, the situation is that government pays them money if you have children. So what people do is, when people come from poor country, they don't work. So they get 1100 per child. They have 10 children. Oh, it's coming. I will not work. It's a Hare Krishna. It's a complete imbalance now. Because people who are working are minimal. They are producing. How much tax they will pay? Whatever tax they are paying, they are the poor guys who are loyal and who are paying. And there are other people who don't work. They get the salary. And the country is inviting, oh yeah, your country have a problem, you come. How are we going to solve that problem? Today the problem is the pollution is not outside. The pollution is within the heart of the people, which has to be cleansed. One time, my spiritual master was going to Delhi airport, and I think that was Indira Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi. Someone actually approached him. What are you doing for the world? Very interesting question, actually. You are wearing sadhu, you are just doing your spiritual life. What are you doing for the world? What is spirituality doing? What is spirituality doing for the world? One may think about it. Oh, we have to feed the children. We have to do that stuff. Why the children are poor? Why they have to suffer for the food? Why is their caste low? Why their birth is low? Nobody thinks about it. Why someone is rich? Why someone is poor? Nobody thinks about it. You may feed the child today. You may feed the child tomorrow. You may feed the child for entire life. But what happens after the life? What are you doing for him? Nothing. You're feeding him food, but food is not the solution. The problem statement is something else. Same way, whatever is corruption happening, whatever is the pollution happening, because people's heart are polluted, so they are spitting that out, and that's why pollution is there. Nobody cares about Bhumi Devi. She is our mother. We throw plastic, we throw whatever garbage on the street and all that stuff. Who is handling that? Mother Bhumi is handling. She has to suffer that. She's our mother. What do we take care of? I was just reminded, one devotee was giving the class. How many times you sit in the car and switch on the car for until someone comes? You can switch off the car, and I was just shocked. I never thought that way. Because that's causing pollution. If I'm able to bear, why not switch off the car? Why do I have to keep the car on? It will save your money. It will save you pollution. Nobody thinks about it. That pollution which is there within our heart, that comes out. And that's why there's so much of chaos today. I was just surprised. My daughter was sharing one day, when they go to school, I'm sure you would know about it, the dustbins are full. Sorry, their dustbins are filled. Children eat and throw that stuff. Are there are children who do not get food, struggled for 2 meals, and we have no value about what food we are getting. No value. Just surprise. The other day I was just there at friend's house. We were 5 people sitting, and there were 5 kids sitting. We were talking, and these all 5 guys were on 5 phones. Literally. I'm like, guys, you could be at your home on the phone. Why you have to come together and be on the phone?
Don't tell me. We went to the wedding event. It's not the real wedding, starting wedding. I actually observed 5 times. Not just kids.
Young,
So,
elders.
Yeah.
Others, my age group and plus 20 years old. Even people who came from India, everyone is on their own phone, their own iPads. Everyone has been like walking. It was like surprising to see everyone is entertaining themselves.
I was working in New York, and I would travel from New Jersey. You have to take 2 trains. One you have to go to this, and then you have to take a path. That's the train. You see in the train, and you could see on YouTube also. That's not. Everyone is on the phone. They have no idea who's standing next to them.
Yeah, my wife controls us. Normally, when we go to dinner in a restaurant, all 4 of us, at least 3 of us, used to see the phone. She always says, "No, switch it off, switch it off." So slowly now, kids and myself will keep the phone away.
Bro, this is such a big problem. There is a new concept of what they call it as being mindful. It's a new term. It wasn't there before in our times when at least I grew up, because we never had phones before. Our phone was a luxury, man. Forget it. And even calling is like we'll put missed calls because I'm going to be charged per minute. That was good. We would complain about it. But that was good because then even if I have a phone, just to text, I, I have to think through, man. I have a very limited balance. My balance will go because the message will immediately come. Your balance is reduced by this. Your balance is reduced by that. Then you are very careful. Forget about, there was no browser on the phone. What will you go to browse? There was no WhatsApp. Why people are so distant today, even if we have better communication? Why? Because we do not realize how the nature is. I tell my kids, experience nature. See what is there around. I was just showing it to my daughter. There is this rose plant I have. I just removed the dead leaves. See these now small leaves are coming from that. How nature is beautifully working. Realizing each and every aspect around is being mindful. You don't have to go to the doctor to take care of your brain stuff. I was asked, my kids were asked, hey, how did you get glasses? I never had glasses. I'm just started reading glasses and I can't see without. But I never had glasses. Their mother did not have a glasses. How did you get glasses? Even I'm surprised. How did you get it? Just getting too much. Most of my this thing, my I
Screen time.
screen time. I just tell my kids, show me your screen time before you go to the sleep. I want to monitor that stuff. That's a good thing which is there. But this is such a big problem today. We don't have time to actually walk. We don't have time to actually experience nature. This is internal pollution, which is actually causing it outside pollution. Why there is so much greed outside? Not that because people are greedy or people are competitive, because the heart is yearning for that one rather than yearning for connecting with God. Any questions or comments before we end today? If you don't mind, today I actually wanted to start having one round together just to share our gratitude to God. Is that okay with everyone? I'll get the beads. I thought we want to do this. It's a wonderful thing to do. But my screen is here, huh? Okay, I have to figure it out. Any questions or comments before I take care of this thing?
Actually, and there is this archaeologist in India. He does a lot of research on if Mahabharata
Huh.
battle actually. So they are
Interesting.
able to find some evidence of that happening. And they also did a scientific study as to how the DNA, tracking the DNA. So this goes back to what Arjuna is saying here. So when Mahabharata happened, that is like the World War. Like we talk about World War One, Two,
Hmm.
right? Like thousands and millions of people died. So apparently Mahabharata was also at the same scale.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, a lot of dynasties from all the way from Afghanistan, they came and joined Pandavas to fight.
Yeah.
So there was a huge fight. We know the
Millions of people. Yeah.
died. So
Yeah.
and who goes to the battlefield? It's usually menfolk.
Hmm.
So when all the menfolk are destroyed,
Yeah.
then how do you populate? How do you progress the population?
Correct.
So there are other men who come in. So there is a DNA breakage. So they have
Wow.
done a scientific study as to how the
Amazing.
DNA has, there is a depth and how the DNA structure has changed and kind of they see the pattern change it. So that's what I feel that Arjuna is, that's what he's talking about, that if we do this, the lineage, the
Will
family
break.
lineage that
Will
we're
break.
continuing is going to break. So that's what
Very nice. Wonderful point. Very nice point. Thank you for sharing that. Any other points or reflections?
Until you mentioned about how important sun and moon both are, I never thought in that way, the way you mentioned, and that's why I was thinking when sun is not there for a few days, we also feel dull.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's kind of we are
Imagine even
related-
in mental platform, we are just affected.
Connected to the sun. Yeah.
and related to the moon thing, which is something new to me, but I recall when my dad, like we were very young, when my dad had like bronchitis, someone mentioned that you need to prepare some ghee and you put
Offer.
it in
Yes.
full moon,
Yes.
and the next day when you
Eat that.
it's literally, and I had tasted that it tastes completely different,
Yes.
and it's not same as what you cook in normal way. So I don't recall what was the full process, but we were very young. But that's what I recall when you mentioned.
Very nice. Very nice. This is science, Mandaji. This is all science.
It was a medication given to him to cure that.
Very interesting thing is, in our term, we call spirituality as mythology. And that's the point which you are breaking with that. It's not a mythology. These are not myth. This is a reality. Like you mentioned about moon. You'll be surprised when I sorry, I just have a habit of not wearing glasses, but without that I don't see, and then I have to wear. Sorry, I'm still getting into that habit. When I took my wife to the doctor, this Ayurveda doctor, you know what he said? A very powerful point. This is off the topic, but I want to spell it out. He said, any electronic devices in the room where you sleep, remove it. If you have Wi-Fi, switch it off. I don't understand. Only what are you saying? Electromagnetic rays. They are so powerful. They will reduce your sleeping pattern. Wow. I was just shocked. He said every meal she's eating has to be fresh. Every meal. If she's eating breakfast, it has to be fresh. Lunch, fresh. No refrigerator, no canned food. Literally, no canned food. I was just surprised. And it worked actually to a large extent. And I'm just continuing that habit to whatever level I am able to do that. Changes so much. Why do we earn money? To eat food. What do we need? There is three concepts in Hindi. I don't know what is in English. Roti, kapda, and makan. Right?
the basics.
Correct. They are the basics. How much you need for two chapatis? At most, at higher age, we can't even need more than two chapatis per meal. What do we need for? How much money do we need for that? Hardly anything. But the necessity has increased so much. I was just talking to my brother-in-law. He was just mentioning in India, if I just have to live, I have a house and I get basic food, I'm all set. But now in every 1 kilometer there is a hospital in India. That was a rare concept before. Even here it is happening so rapidly. Different than Canada. In Canada there is one hospital. That's a different story altogether. Why? Because our eating habits have gone down. That's why we are struggling. That's why our health is down. Then we have to pay higher premium to insurance company. And that's how there is a cycle going on to pay that off. When why people are afraid of laying off here? That is major reason. How do I take care of my health? And that's why retirement is later. These guys are pushing, and then people don't want to retire because how would they maintain their health? They have to pay the fees to the health insurance, and how are they going to earn the money? Such a chaotic situation to be in. So we have to understand how to live naturally and understand how to be grateful to everything around our nature. Right? That's the point. So I'll bring the beat. Is any other points before we end? Okay, okay, I'll keep the beat.
That must be New York.
This is a nice way of actually accepting the beats. Thank you. Not that others didn't do it, but that's how.
This is what I do.
How do you?
I'll teach you.
No, I will just say when you said, how do you act?
We have to take it like that. Not that you didn't do it wrong, but this
No,
is,
no, I just want to.
yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to criticize that way, so please forgive. Yeah. So when we get initiated, like I have a guru. So when we go in front of them, we beg like that because this is a mercy. So that is a nice. Even when we